Hello again, everyone. Today we're going to start talking about the actual statistical analyses that we can run on our data. So we talked before about that box that showed us that we can run different statistical tests based on the types of data we have, whether it's nominal or continuous, so nominal and continuous, and also based on our variable type, whether that is a dependent variable or an independent variable. So today we're going to jump into maybe the most basic, but also very useful analysis, and that is a one-way analysis of variance. So we shorten that by saying one-way ANOVA, and this is all capital, and that's analysis of variance. Okay? So as I mentioned in a previous video, one-way analyses of variance are similar to a t-test, but they differ in one very important way. So a t-test that you may have used before looks at the response of a dependent variable to one independent variable that has two levels. And it says, are the means between these two levels different? Well, a one-way ANOVA can be used to, again, look at one independent variable, but you can have multiple levels of that variable. And in fact, if you run a one-way ANOVA on just these two levels of the variable, you'll get the same results as you would get in a t-test. All right. So ANOVAs are common tests that we use to determine if the means among groups are different. So our means among groups different. And again, when we're looking at an ANOVA in this table, we have nominal data types, continuous data types. We have our dependent variable and our independent variable. And ANOVAs fall in this category where we have a continuous dependent variable and a nominal independent variable. And again, the null hypothesis that we're testing is that there are no differences among means. Okay? And that null hypothesis, if we graphed our results of an ANOVA, would look something like this, where we had, in this example, 3 levels of our independent variable, and then we had our dependent variable across the y-axis. So that's what our null hypothesis would look like. Now, what would we expect if we did not accept our null hypothesis? Well, if we accept our alternative hypothesis, which is what? That would be means among groups differ. Then the results of our ANOVA would look something more like this, where we have one or more groups differing from the other ones. So in this example, you can see that the B group is larger than the A group, and it's also larger than the C group. Well, the A group is larger than the C group. So we have means that differ. So that's what our alternative hypothesis would look like. So what we're going to focus on for this one-way ANOVA example is mollusk shell lengths. Now, you could use a one-way ANOVA for a variety of different applications. Don't get bogged down on mollusk shells. This could really be used for anything. But the question we want to ask is, does length of mollusk shell and it's always important to specify your units, so we're going to use centimeters, differ among populations? Okay, so the question we ask is, does length of mollusk shells differ among populations? We could also ask, does the height of individuals differ among genders? It could really be used for many, many things. But one thing that we always need to keep in mind with an ANOVA is that our dependent variable is continuous and our independent variable is nominal. So let's just draw this out really quickly, a statistical design. So our independent variable is population. And we have, for example, 4 levels of that variable. We have the T population, and this is Tillamook. I'll explain these in a bit. We have an N population, a PET population, and a PORT population. And what I'm referencing is actually in this workbook, this Excel workbook. And the different populations, the T is the Tillamook population, N is the Newport population, PET is the Petersburg population, and PORT is the Portland population. And as you can see, I have a total of 40 observations. However, I have replication of 10 individuals. So I have 10 Tillamook individuals, 10 Newport individuals, 10 Petersburg individuals, and 10 Portland individuals for a total observation of 40. And keep in mind, my dependent variable I'm looking at, although we don't draw it out in the statistical design, is shell length in centimeters. Okay, so this is the question we're asking. Does the length of the mollusk shell differ among populations? And we can address that question by using a one-way ANOVA. The next video will show you how to take this raw data that we have in our Excel file, which is right here, put that into SAS Jump, and actually run the test. So tune into the next one.